Maybe PSG have turned a corner after one of their biggest results in Europe in the history of the club. Of course, they knocked out Chelsea in the 2015-2016 season. They made the final in 2020 with that remarkable comeback against Atalanta. But last night, we saw a different PSG team, one that's not felt the pressure and bustling under the pressure. This team saw the pressure, talked the smack, and said, we're going to knock out Liverpool at Anfield. You can only admire. You back your talk. For many years, people have discredited PSG and have been very critical about the way they have gone about their projects, buying just the stars of the Messis, the Neymars, the Sergio Ramos, the Mbappes, and not really looking at the talent pool within Ligue 1. Because Ligue 1, you could say, has the best talent pool in all of Europe, with the talents that are constantly on showcase in the league. But now you can see there's a different strategy with this PSG team. Of course, we're going to go into the coaching and talking about the players. But the one person who should get a lot of credit for this sort of turnaround in PSG's fortunes is Luis Campos. Luis Campos, very decorated sporting director, technical advisor, doing his work at Lille to Celta Vigo, and obviously became the technical advisor for PSG a couple years ago. PSG a couple years ago had one of the oldest teams in the Champions League, almost an average age of 29 years old. 2 years later, they are one of the youngest teams at almost 23 average age within the team. Only behind RB Salzburg, who are always going to play kids at like 21, 22 years old. So Luis Campos said, we got to completely rejuvenate this team. Obviously, he signed Nuno Mendes, the Hakimis, but he saw the Sergio Ramos, Danilo Pereiras, Messi's, Mbappe's, Neymar's, and said, no, we have to go in a new direction. We tried for many years, and PSG tried so many years. Thiago Silva, Ibrahimovic, Cavani, Lavezzi, Pastore, Messi, Mbappe, Neymar. They tried all these star players and it didn't work out. So they said, okay, we got to change it up. We got to switch it up right now. And PSG are looking fantastic. I cannot deny when this draw happened between PSG and Liverpool, as a Liverpool fan, even though I'm wearing the PSG jacket, you cannot deny, people, this jacket is cold. I said, I'm really worried. And if you're any Liverpool fan, and if you're watching other Liverpool content creators, or if you watch any other people, if they say to you, oh, this is going to be easy. Oh, PSG butlers. Okay. Yeah, PSG don't have the greatest history in Europe. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be absolutely difficult.
Bring on PSG. I ain't worried about no damn PSG. We're going through, mate.
Because I've seen how PSG over this season, you could talk about the early parts of this season, struggling against Arsenal away where they didn't really have a lot of fluid play. Obviously, the Girona result where they needed an own goal to win the game. The draw against PSV, the Atletico loss in the final minute. I said PSG are just missing that one or two elements in their play. They're playing good football. They're keeping the ball. Vitinha, João Neves are balling out. But they're missing that sort of dynamic play within them. I don't know what's happened since December, but this team are ruthless. They're still unbeaten in Ligue 1. I don't think a team in Ligue 1's history have ever gone unbeaten. They're still in the Coupe de France semifinals, and they are heavy favorites. They're going up against Dunkirk in the semifinals. They should be winning it. Now you're going to look at their Champions League adventure and saying they can win this competition. Now, of course, Luis Campos has done fantastic with this recruiting. Look at the Nuno Mendes signing, to obviously João Neves, to Vitinha, to Barcola, to getting Dembele, who was having a terrible time at Barcelona, joining the club, to Desiree Doué. But for me, I think two really key signings. One is Kivica Kvaratskhelia. I made a video about it. Everybody knows how good he is, but people didn't appreciate the baller that Kvara is. The touch, the directness. He can beat 2-3 guys with one dribble. Kvara is just a special player to watch. You just see the control he has, the ability to take on players with both feet. I love Kvara. He's one of my favorite players. But another player, because, you know, PSG have had Kimpembe, Danilo Pereira, Sergio Ramos, but they could never find that partner next to Marquinhos. Well, in stepped in Pacho, the Great Wall of Ecuador, who in 3 years went from Royal Antwerp to Eintracht Frankfurt to a big money move to PSG. Yeah, he might not be the greatest on the ball, but PSG need players who want to defend, especially in the center-back position. Do you see Pacho in these performances, people? Pacho is an unstoppable wall at the moment. His reading of the game, physicality. Marquinhos, you could say he's been always a liability in the Champions League. But when you have a guy like Pacho, who's still very young, and his willingness to just defend, I think it just complements Marquinhos. Donnarumma, he's had a lot of criticism, and I think rightfully so, for his Champions League campaigns. Yesterday, he saved his team. Yeah, maybe he looked a little bit vulnerable with his ability on the ball, but that's been a trait of his career. But shot stomping and obviously coming up clutch in the penalty shootout. Who's actually more clutch in penalty shootouts, people? Donnarumma or Dibu Martinez? That's a great debate. But I think those two players, adding a Kivara and a Pacho, just adds more quality to this team. And Luis Enrique's coaching and his leadership. There's going to be criticism for Enrique. I didn't like his time at the Spanish national team. I just thought his football was boring. It was just too side to side. Remember that game against Morocco? There was just no sort of penetration. There was no desire to attack. It was all just about keep possession, don't lose the ball. I think Luis Enrique just prefers these sort of young forwards who are very skillful, very technically gifted, and are willing to take on defenders like a Barcola, like a Desiree Doué, like a Dembele, and like a Kivara. And he wants those controllers in the midfield, like a João Neves, who's just... Maybe he didn't have his greatest game yesterday, but off the ball, winning duels, João Neves is... For his stature, João Neves is unbelievable. And a Vitinha. Vitinha, the controller, the quarterback, as you would want to say, reads the game so well. His ability to find a pass, technical ability. Vitinha, remember he used to play at Wolves? Luis Campos saw Vitinha and said, no, we need to bring this player straight away to PSG. And Vitinha has been a great signing, in my opinion. So you just look at all the signings Luis Campos has brought in and trying to build a team and trying to get this team younger and trying to cover more distance. The pressing is much better. PSG have so many good elements. But I think one thing they really showcased last night was mentality. People can say, oh, mentality, what is this word in football? It's a key element, people. Have PSG had the mentality in the last couple years in the Champions League? No, they haven't. Remember that performance with Christophe Galtier when they got shellacked by Bayern Munich 3-0 over two legs? I'm sorry, that was no mentality in that team. They just gave up. This team, they said they will go to Anfield and win and progress to the quarterfinals. That stems from Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique has won trebles, has won La Ligas, a Champions League. This guy is a winner. And I think he's now really loving this team where he is the leader. Maybe he didn't like the stars like in Mbappe, because Mbappe, maybe he didn't want to press, and there's that video talking to Mbappe about you need to show an example. Maybe Mbappe never showed that example to his teammates. But Luis Enrique, if he's the leader, these players will follow. I think Luis Enrique needs to take a lot of credit for the work he has done and sort of rectifying his career after the Spain job. Yeah, he made it to the semifinals of the Euros, but people, the football wasn't good. We saw that World Cup in 2022. It wasn't good. They lost to Japan. They drew to Germany. They lost to Morocco. It wasn't good. Yeah, okay. Spain Euro 2021, it was good. Yeah, they beat Croatia. They beat Switzerland, but they were never going to win that Euros. But I'm looking at Luis Enrique right now and I'm saying, oh no, this is a different manager at the moment. And I knew this was always going to be difficult for Liverpool. I knew this tie was like everybody just dismissing. Of course, PSG don't have the greatest history in Europe. They've never won the Champions League. Marseille fans are praying right now that PSG don't win this Champions League. Otherwise, then there will be two clubs in France that have won the Champions League, and obviously the biggest rivals in France. Do I still believe PSG can win the Champions League? Yes. But if they don't win this season, they're most certainly going to win it in the next couple years. They have a young team. They can keep the players. The players are on long contracts. Luis Enrique just signed a new contract. I really like the way PSG have gone about it. Yes, this is not a rags to riches story where it's an underdog and overcoming the odds. No, it isn't, because PSG has spent the money. But finally, you spend the money and we're seeing great football. Just the combination play, the individual brilliance. As a neutral, everybody wanted to hate on Liverpool last night. I can understand it. Everybody has these hate-alongs and all this sort of nonsense on Twitter, on YouTube. But I think neutrals can say the better team progressed. The better team progressed. Yeah, Liverpool tried to throw every punch at PSG in that second half, but who made those clearances off the line? Nuno Mendes in the first half, Kivara in the second half, Pacho with a very vital block. So there's a willingness to keep a clean sheet and getting the goal. And yeah, PSG were fortunate to get that goal from Liverpool because of a Konate mistake, or maybe you could say Alisson. But look at the way they beat the press, got Dembele with acres of space, plays it out wide to Barcola, and obviously Dembele taps it in. But PSG had multiple opportunities to win that game yesterday. So I think it's really just a mentality switch for this team. They played good football in the early stages of the league phase. They just couldn't get the victory. But now, you just see the confidence is just with every player from Nuno Mendes. I mean, he absolutely locked up Salah last night. I don't know if I was watching Mohamed Salah Mohamed Henny, the Marseille fan. Yeah, maybe you could say his delivery and his final ball wasn't the greatest. Nuno Mendes. He's a defender. I want my defender to defend. And Nuno Mendes did an unbelievable job. Now you look at their next opponents. It could be Club Brugge, Aston Villa. PSG will be favorites. Could they face a Madrid team in the semifinals? Could it be Arsenal? Who knows? But PSG gotta believe right now. But PSG's president Nasser Al-Khelaifi did talk about we have a project going on.
We're building one of the youngest team for the future.
So this is not just for this year, people. It's for next year. It's for the following season. And you know PSG are going to add players to this entire team. I think it was a great tie overall. Yeah, you could say PSG obliterated Liverpool in that first leg. But the second leg at Anfield, you just saw two heavyweights going toe-to-toe, and it ended up on penalties, and Donnarumma came up clutch. But I think now people are going to appreciate a lot of these ballers for PSG. For me, my favorite player is still Kvara. If PSG win this Champions League, is Dembele going to win the Ballon d'Or? Nope, we're not going to have that discussion yet. And I'm a big fan of the Ballon d'Or, but Dembele is having a great, you could compare him to Robin. Robin faced all that adversity, young age, the failed move to Chelsea, didn't go so well at Real Madrid, injuries, not really integrating into the team. And I think Dembele is having maybe a similar career. Now 27, looks mature. And yes, sometimes his finishing isn't the greatest, but he gets into those positions and his ability on both feet. Look at the way he took the penalty. Are you kidding me? That penalty was just so arrogant, but so amazing at the same time from Ousmane Dembele that you have to just admire. His confidence is skyrocketing right now. And Desiree Doué off the bench. Holy cow, this kid is good. This kid is fantastic and really deserved the goal through these two legs. But I think the final thing we can say is they are turning a corner. And this project, maybe they will fumble against an Aston Villa or Club Brugge. But I think for the future, this team is legit. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, people. Who deserves the most credit for this turnaround for PSG? Is it Luis Campos? Is it Luis Enrique? Is it the players they got right now? And do you believe PSG can win the Champions League this season? Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Remember to follow me on all the socials. You can find those links in the description down below. Have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time. Adios.